Listen to this episode if multi-six figures or seven figures is on your vision board for 2026 in product sales, but yet you're just looking for a framework, a pillar, a strategy to follow in order to know how to actually do that consistently. Today, we're going to dive into the three major pillars that every business needs to master in order to hit multi-six, seven figures in your business. And honestly, anything below that as well. Once we hit seven figures, things get complicated. Of course, we have more team. We have a little bit more that goes into it. But in order for you to hit seven figures, truly, this is what we need to focus on. I can tell you this because I've seen other businesses do it. I have helped other businesses do it. And I have seen the behind the scenes of hundreds of businesses on the same pursuit. So if big cash flows, big cash months are on your list, this is what you need to do today. First, what we're going to talk about is basically where you might be currently at in order for this to be helpful for you. Then we're going to dive into the common mistakes that I see that people that are on this pursuit of seven figures, multi-six figures, let's just say seven for the sake of saying seven. If you are on pursuit of these big numbers, wanting to be a household name, wanting to disrupt your industry, wanting to hit seven figures and beyond, whatever that looks like, these are the three major pieces. And we're going to talk about first, the major problem that you may be seeing, the symptoms that you may be seeing right now if you don't have this structure in place. The second one is going to be the common mistakes that founders make early on that actually hold you back from getting to this point. And then we're going to dive into the solution of this, which is the three essential pillars that you need in order to hit this milestone. Then we're going to talk about how to put it all together, how they actually work together to create a business that is flourishing and growing really on its own. And of course, at the end, we will do a quick little wrap up and a summary as well. So if you're listening to this episode and your growth right now feels a little random, maybe right now it just feels a little lackluster, you have your sales coming in, things are working, but it just doesn't feel like it's something that is repeatable. It doesn't feel like it's something that is measurable. It doesn't feel like it's something that you fully have a handle on. You're kind of just constantly testing new things, trying new things, seeing if this works, trying to figure out your thing. I hear it a lot where people are like, I just wish my thing would happen. Like, if that's that video that goes viral or that influencer that posts about you. But the problem is you are waiting for them to take action. What we're talking about today is how you can actually take control of your growth and really you are the driving force of that quote unquote thing that needs to happen in order to see growth. Maybe you're guessing what to fix. You're not really looking at your data of things. You're just really doing the things consistently and hoping something finally takes off. Maybe you feel kind of invisible. Maybe you feel like your content is converting, but you have to be out there all the time on social media in order to make it really even make the sales that you have. You're just feeling drained by your actual content plan. Or maybe you're making really great sales. Maybe you're like, no, I am pretty good at where I'm at. I know what I need to do to make the sales that I have, but I don't know what to do to move forward. I don't know what to do now. I don't know what those next steps are to really think bigger, to really think grander in order to actually go from whether it's 50,000, 500,000, 5,000, whatever marker you are at right now, we are trying to really get you to that disruption point. We're getting you to, I like to call that hockey stick moment where you are going, and then boom, it happens and you are in control of your growth. That is what we're talking about today. So if you feel like you feel kind of invisible, you're constantly guessing what to fix, your growth is kind of random, or you're just looking for a play-by-play of what it really takes to make seven figures. Maybe you're starting a business in 2026, whatever that might be. Today's going to be a masterclass in really what are the necessities in order to hit high cash months in your business. Before we dive in too deep, I just want to take 10 quick seconds to say hello. My name is Madison Page. I'm the host of the Small Business Growth Podcast. I am a business growth specialist. I have worked with hundreds of business owners at this point to help them from pre-revenue all the way up to acquisition and $50 million plus in sales, and truly everywhere in between. It is my mission to help make business ownership easier for everybody that is wild enough to want to do this life. It is wonderful. It is freedom filled. And I want to be alongside you through that journey. If you're new here, make sure that you subscribe to the podcast. We put out new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. I have 400 plus episodes out there, hundreds of hours of me teaching different strategies, the nitty gritty, the mindset, whatever that might be. So dive into those things. We were a top 2% Spotify podcast in 2025 from my Spotify Wrapped. Thank you all for being here. If you listen to this podcast religiously, which I know so many of you do, we had thousands of people that I was their top podcast of the year. I'm so grateful for you. Make sure that you come over to my Instagram and say hi if that was you. I want to see your face because it's always so wild to me that you spent so much time with me. And sometimes I don't even know that you're out there. So please come and say hi. It makes my day every single time. So common mistakes that founders make really early on that you might be making if you're feeling like you're stuck in this. First things first is that you are thinking that your brand is good the way that it is. Maybe you are thinking that your brand is good because you took inspiration from other brands. Maybe with your branding, you're feeling like, you have a logo, you have colors, you have some of these things, you got the photo shoot done, but you're good. You're done. You're ready to go. You found this brand that you loved what they had, and you basically have been taking inspiration from these other brands in order to create your brand. This is such a big mistake that people make because all you're doing is putting yourself at the same light as already somebody that's out there. But when you are trying to actually disrupt an industry, it is on you to put yourself in a totally different space than everybody else, than that person that's already in your industry that is crushing it. Because at the end of the day, if they see you and they see this other person and this other brand already has authority, already has market share, and already has this really robust brand, why would they not pick that business? Why would they not pick the brand that's in Ulta or that's in Sephora or Target or something like that instead of picking you if you guys are looking the exact same, if you guys are creating the same products? Instead, with your brand, I want you to put your blinders on and stop taking what everybody else is doing for inspiration. The next mistake is that you are trying to be everywhere rather than trying to master one major channel. We're going to talk about the rule of one later on in this episode, but too many people are trying to do all of the things, which is why you feel like you're spinning your wheels, which is why you feel like you're on this hamster wheel, you're frustrated, and you're so dang busy, but yet nothing is actually working. What happens when you try to master everything is you're actually mastering nothing, and you're executing everything at like a 20% level, because you aren't actually executing anything with your full capacity, with your full focus. Instead, I want you to focus on one marketing, one channel, one sales channel. We'll talk about that in a little bit. You don't need to post on Instagram and on TikTok and Pinterest and email and Etsy and have none of them actually optimized. I want you to actually think deeper rather than thinking broader. The next one is that you are treating marketing and sales like separate worlds or like one in the same. Both of these on both ends of the spectrum are a mistake. If you are thinking of marketing and sales as completely separate things, that, okay, I'm marketing here and I'm selling here, and those are the only places that I need to do that because my marketing can't be too salesy, that is not the case. But you also can't think of it as everything you're doing is selling. On social media, so often people are just selling. You're saying, look at this camera, isn't it cute? Go and buy it. Everybody needs this camera in their bag, go and buy it. This is how it works, go and buy it. That can't be what your content looks like. If your content right now is full of all of this, just like, look at my clothing. It's available on the website. Our new, seaside collection is perfect for you and your family. It's on the website. Go and buy it. I'm going to tell you right now, your marketing and your sales are a linear model. They are, we're trying to move people through a process. They aren't all the same thing. Marketing and sales are different, but yet they should be seamless. We're also going to dive into that in a second. The next mistake people make is that they're treating their business like a transaction machine as opposed to a community, as opposed to a circular model that we're trying to get people to come back to. I know that you're here because you're mission driven. I know that you're here because you have heart in your business. I know that you're here because you want your business to last and to build and to grow more easily than what you are having right now. You are here because of that. And the secret to that is to stopping this transaction machine mindset. You right now could make $300,000 a month on Facebook ads if we wanted to. I could wrap you up with a perfect little ads campaign and you could be making $300,000 a month in your business for sure. But if those people don't come back, If those people are basically fully dependent just on those ads in order to go, if your social media marketing organically is not optimized, you are just running this machine that it's expensive to acquire new people, that you are never able to turn off your ads, otherwise your sales will decrease. You don't actually own your sales machine at all because it's owned by Meta. What happens when Meta inevitably changes their algorithm for the 14th time this year, and then all of a sudden your ads aren't converting? So instead of this transaction machine of just one-time purchases, we need to think of your business more of a community. And last but not least, if you believe 7 figures requires going viral or having a huge audience, that is a common mistake that I see right now. Yes, we do need enough people to make enough purchases. People do need to know that your brand exists. A couple thousand people at least need to know that your brand exists. But you don't need 100,000 followers to make 7 figures. I have brands that have 10,000 followers. I have brands that have 15,000 followers that make 7 figures a year. I have brands that have less than that we're trying to build out their D2C channel. It doesn't require followers. It requires awareness of the right people, but it does not require followers. That is what is super important. So if you are making any of those mistakes, you're thinking your branding is just your logo, your color palette, and you're good, you're taking inspiration from everyone else, you're trying to be everywhere rather than mastering the one thing, you're kind of all over the place, you're changing your strategies all the time. Maybe you're treating your marketing and your sales like either separate worlds or one and the same. They are different, but they are equal, and we have to use them alongside of each other. Maybe you're treating your business like this transaction machine, not a community. And if you're believing the 7 figures means you need to go viral, these are some common mistakes. I could just do common mistakes as a whole episode, and I could go on and on and on, but that's where we're going to start and we're going to stop. So now we're going to really talk about these 3 pillars that you really need. So you are saying, yes, Maddie, I do feel this way. Yes, Maddie, I have made some of these mistakes. You have sales coming in, but now you aren't really evolving. You're not really sure where to go next. What are the 3 essential pillars to hit 7 figures? This is what we are diving into the nitty-gritty today. If you have a notebook, please have that notebook out. If you're driving, just take a mental note and make some notes in a bit, right? Number 1, pillar 1, is that you need a brand that actually means something. What you're going to see within these 3 pillars is you are going to say, Maddie, why does this seem so simple? And at the end of the day, it is simple because 7 figures is simple in business. Is it easy? No, but it is simple. You don't have to overcomplicate it. If I were to go back to those mistakes, one of the major mistakes people make is that they overcomplicate their growth in business. You don't have to overcomplicate this. It actually can be simple. Let it be simple. Earn the right to complicate it. I have one of my good friends says that, earn the right to complicate things. You have to earn that right to complicate your business. And at first, it is very simple. First things first is you need a brand that actually means something. It can't just be, oh yeah, I liked these colors. Oh yeah, this was my style. Oh yeah, I live here, so I'm just going to make this my brand. Your brand is your foundation of everything you're building upon. Your brand is the first impression of your business. And if we see your brand, 90% of people are visually motivated. And if they immediately come to your brand, to your profile, to your website, to any contact with your brand, and they say, just not really doing it for me. It's not magnetic for me. They're going to keep moving on until they find one that really is. Your product has nothing to do really, truly with your growth at first. Yes, it does. Of course, it has to be a good product. But first, it matters about your brand. Without clarity, without magnetism, without alignment, nothing else scales. This is your foundation. If you can have 100,000 followers, but if your branding is cracked, you have built a house on a broken foundation, and you still have to fill those gaps. We still have to make sure that your branding magnetizes the right people, the people that would like your product, and the people that are going to stick around. It's the difference between, sure, this looks good, and this is actually memorable. This is something that's attracting the right people, because we don't need everybody. We want specific. We want to grow pretty niche. So your brand can be more specific than you're actually thinking right now. I know in your mind you're saying, I don't want to block people out. I want to try to have my audience be as big as possible because it provides more opportunities, but that's not actually the case. That's not how this actually works. We want to be niche, we want to be memorable, and we want to be unique. We have to stop thinking about our brand as just something that is willy-nilly thrown together. you've heard me say it once and I'll say it until I'm blue in the face, is that disruptive brands are built in the details, and your details start with your branding. This is how brands reduce friction, because customers come in contact and they understand who you are immediately. Whether they're seeing an email, whether they're seeing something in the mail, whether they're seeing something on social, whether they're seeing a friend talk about it, they are seeing bits and pieces of you everywhere, and you are memorable to them. They're saying, oh, that reminds me of that brand. Oh, that reminds me, consciously or unconsciously, subconsciously, they are thinking of you throughout the day because of your brand. Branding is what causes and creates this differentiation. And so if you're in a saturated market, we need to create a brand that actually is strategic. Yes, branding is very often creative. Yes, branding is very often aesthetic. It should be. That is what branding is. It is a creative act, but there is strategy that goes into creative. And we have a whole episode coming out on Friday with an incredible creative studio founder. And please subscribe to the podcast if you don't, and listen to that one, because we really dive into this of why brand actually matters. There's a couple of pieces that your brand needs. You need a value and a reason that people should care about your brand. You aren't selling your product. You're selling the solution that you solve. You're selling the meaning that your product has for the actual consumer. And so your brand needs to mean something to the consumer, not just you, not just, oh, I like this style. Your brand has to be different than other people in your industry. I want you to look at your industry right now. And if it's really boring and it's really black and white and it's kind of boring, I want you to be as fun as possible. I want you to put your stake in the ground, say, yes, this is who I am. This is what I really love. Your brand is one of the major pillars that you need, because your brand is what's going to speak for you. Your brand is what is going to align the right people to you. It's what's going to magnetize people to you. And it's also what's going to get people to keep coming back because they love it. Yes, it's your magnetism. Yes, it's explaining what you're all about. It is what speaks about you without you in the room. It is truly that strong piece of information that when somebody says, oh, I like your lip color, they're going to say, oh my gosh, I bought it from this cute small business that I found online that has all of this other product and that does and cares about these things and has all of this other value. It's awesome. You should go and check it out. Your brand is what does that. Your brand is what makes people say, ooh, I made that. That is memorable. It's magnetic. And it has that like obsessed worthy factor behind it. Right now, I want you to think, does your brand make people feel something? Deeper than like happy and, relatable and maybe empowered. Ask this a lot in input forms when people come into working with me. What do we want your brand to feel? And it's like, I want them to feel happy and empowered and joyful. Yes, no brand wants people to feel shitty about themselves, right? Like, where nobody's out here being like, hey, I'm trying to berate my customers. Of course, you want your brand to feel empowered and happy and accepting, but there's something different than saying happy, empowered, and accepting, and you want people to feel confident, and you want people to feel like this is an inclusive brand that everybody is involved with here, and that you are trying to put your stake in the ground that the fashion industry is not inclusive enough, and that is what we are going after. You have a mission. You are saying, this is what I am excited about. What is your thing? Does your brand make people feel something right now? Visually, with your messaging, with your one-liners, what is it within your brand? Can people tell you what your mission is behind the brand? It is really important that people know that. As Gen Z and young millennials come up, they are the most value-focused customers we've ever seen. They need this value behind your brand. So pillar number one is you need a brand that makes people feel something visually with your messaging. When they purchase from you, your brand has to evoke some sort of emotion. What does this purchase mean for them? That is what is so important here. Hey, I'm jumping in here for 30 quick seconds for those of you listening and thinking, all right, but how do I actually apply this to my business? Every week here, I share strategies, case studies, growth mistakes to avoid, but your business growth is nuanced. So your business support has to be nuanced as well. That's why all of my support includes me inside of your business, your ideas, your launches, your content, perfecting what you're already building and uncovering your hidden opportunities
to scale. This isn't a cookie cutter course. It's a high level personalized support system to help you optimize your brand, your strategy, and every single person your business touches. If you want my eyes and my brain on your branding, your sales, your marketing, and your overall growth plan, click the link in the show notes to apply. Let's see what we can build together.
Pillar number 2 is we need a seamless marketing to sales channel. This is where we're going to talk about the power of one, the rule of one in business. Marketing and sales are two separate things. However, they are one complete customer journey. So marketing is what gets people interested and desiring your products. Your sales is what creates action. Your sales is what cinches the deal. Your sales is what gets people to actually put their credit card down. And so if we think about these things as either disjointed or one and the same, you are missing the actual journey that a sales process is. This is called a customer journey. It's called a buying cycle, whatever we want to call it. We need a seamless channel, seamless funnel where people find you, they understand what your business is all about, they're obsessed with you, and then they buy really easily. What we want to do in order to make 7 figures, before you make 7 figures, and 6 figures, multi-6 figures, whatever, you need to have one ideal customer. You need to have one marketing channel, and you need to have one sales channel. That's it. We don't want to add more to that plate. Again, we're thinking niche to start, because what that's going to do is it means we can master this one customer avatar. We can master this one marketing channel, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, Reddit, Snapchat, whatever. What is working? We need to master that one marketing channel, and then we can master this one sales channel. So what this can look like is you can have an ideal customer that's deeper than just women between the ages of 25 and 45. I need you to know that person so well. What are their likes? What are their dislikes? What are their motivations? What are their fears? What do they care about every single day? Who is that person? Where are they? Where can we find them? Does our brand, going back to pillar 1, speak to them? Then we're looking at pillar 2. Pillar 2 is having one marketing channel. This can be Instagram. On your Instagram, we get people to find you. We get people to get nurtured into your community consistently. You're mastering it. Your reels are bringing in more followers. Maybe we boost some reels. Maybe we have PR coming in. Whatever that might be, we need people to find you. We need people to like you. And we need people to buy from you in the sales channel. So for many of my customers, this looks like having one ideal customer, having an Instagram profile, and having a website. For some of my other customers, they have a TikTok profile and an Etsy page. Whatever this is, you should be moving people through this buying cycle, and we need to understand how we can actually see marketing and sales as a seamless system. You hear me say this a lot. You need to have a seamless sales system. How you do that is we get new people in, new of our ideal customers in, they're nurtured into your community, and then we sell to them. That is the buying cycle. That is what we have to consistently do. And in order to make 7 figures, we just have to master that with the rule of one. One ideal customer, one marketing channel, and one sales channel. Quit trying to look everywhere. Quit trying to be on Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok and Facebook and everywhere, because it's going to be hard for you to be consistent with it. There's enough people on all of these platforms for you to make 7 figures with one platform. Let me tell you that, right? As long as we have a big enough ideal customer that there's more than 1,000 of them in the world, then we can really pump people through. Where I want to get you is that all we have to do is get more awareness, and they can pump all the way through this sales system, and it's effective and it converts people at a really high rate. That is what we want to do. If you are in PTP, which is my signature program that I help people do this in, that is my goal for you, is to have a brand and to have this seamless sales system really working. This is what we really need to do. So I want you to pick one channel to master. I want you to master depth, not breadth of marketing. I want you to have consistent messaging and branding throughout all of these channels, and have content intentionally primed for this ideal customer. With your sales channel, I want you to have one primary place, whether it's Shopify, Etsy, a wholesale platform. I have plenty of brands that hit 7 figures just with doing wholesale, whatever that might be. And then you need to have it optimized for actual conversions, and we have to have messaging and visuals consistent with your content. And we need to look at your data and read and act on what's actually happening. So you can see here, Your marketing kind of sets this expectation, and your site fulfills the promise. The customer journey feels aligned, intentional, and cohesive because they find you, they say, I am your ideal customer. This is made for me. They love what you're talking about. You're speaking to all of their needs, their desires, their motivations. They go to your website, boom, they're sold because everything is effective, everything is seamless, and everything is very natural. You cannot scale in chaos. You cannot scale a lack of systems. One marketing channel, one sales channel, one ideal customer mastered. That is how you get to 7 figures. Of course, the branding is included inside of this that we already talked about. Pillar number 3, and then we're going to put it all together. This is having a community-driven thought process around your business. Pillar number 3 to make 7 figures is to understand that in order for your business to be sustainable, to last, to grow itself, and to really be this legacy brand, this disruptive brand that you want it to be, you have to think about your community, not just a transaction. Let's talk about this. This is where the long-term money lives. This is where security lives. This is where freedom lives. Retention is the final lever that we have to pull in order to hit 7 figures. This doesn't mean that you need 100,000 followers. This doesn't mean that you need to go viral. When I say community, I'm not talking about mass numbers. I'm not saying you need to be an influencer. Community is connection within your brand. Community is buy-in within your brand. It's identity within your brand. It's belonging with your brand. What this is it is your job to nurture these customers into super fans that tell all of their friends about you, that continue to buy from you over and over again, that rave about you online, and that adore you. Why that is because you can have 5,000 raving fans. And instead of them just buying once through your Facebook ad and then never hearing from them again, they will buy every month on the first of the month on subscription. And that is the difference between getting them to spend $500 with you and for that one customer to spend $5,000 with you over their customer lifetime value, which basically means that you need to actually market less. You need to acquire fewer customers because your recurring revenue is so much higher. It's so much easier and it's so much more profitable to retain a customer than to continue to find new ones. When people feel seen, understood, and valued when they come in contact with your brand, they stay longer, they buy more, and they tell everybody about it. And that is what we are trying to accomplish here. Repeat customers obviously cost nothing to acquire because they have already purchased from you. All you have to do is get them to consistently, A, of course, love your product, and B, love what it stands for and how it makes them feel and that they want to come back. Your referrals will increase, your average order value will increase, your engagement will increase, your customers become like your people. They become your driving force of your growth. This is what makes your brand last longer rather than a store that just sells products. What that means is that you now have security, because if your Instagram gets shut down tomorrow, you bet your bottom dollar that these people are coming to try to find you. You bet your bottom dollar that these people will be emailing you saying, hey, why can I not find your Instagram? They will find you. Don't you worry. If your Etsy gets shut down, your community is still going to come to your Instagram and be like, whoa, they're going to band together with you if something happens, right? And so we want this community that comes back, that loves you, that talks about you. This is why I can say my customers have industry-leading average order values, retention rates, conversion rates, referral rates, share rates, loyalty programs. All of those things are caused by caring about your customers more than just a sale. I don't care if someone buys from you once. I care if someone buys from you a second time. It's pretty dang easy to get somebody to buy from you one time. It's not as easy to get somebody to buy from you a second, a third, and a fourth time. That is what we work on, because this retention right now, if you have 100 customers that are buying from you, that have bought from you so far, but none of them are coming back, that's a problem. That's telling me that we aren't actually servicing our customers to the point that we really need to be. If Instagram disappeared tomorrow, would your people still seek you out? If your one major channel disappeared, will people still seek you out? If you didn't do any marketing, will your customers market for you? That is what this really does for you. So how these pillars really work together. Your brand is what attracts and differentiates at the top of funnel. Your brand is what magnetizes. This is what immediately, you've had this experience where somebody finds you on social media, or you find another brand on social media. Let's say this is you are the customer in this example, and you come across an Instagram and you're like, holy cow, how have I never seen this before? This is gorgeous. I'm obsessed with it. Immediately follow, and then you watch as to what they're doing. That is what your brand does. Your marketing to sales turns in that like, holy cow, how have I never seen this brand before, into actual revenue and making it predictable, making it repeatable, and making it manageable, something that we can actually control. So I know with my clients what they need to post in order to get people to their website that will actually get them to convert, because we have identified the major levers in their seamless sales system that they go through their social media, they get nurtured from their social media, and then they buy from them on their website. And so your marketing to sales is what turns this into predictable revenue and allows for not just having a pretty brand, but also having people moving through the buying cycle and actually having people convert into customers. And then your community is what turns that predictable revenue into longevity, into retention, into momentum that keeps on building. You can scale your business without it having to drain you. These pillars simplify, they clarify, and they streamline your growth so you don't have to hustle harder. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everywhere doing everything. And I hear this so often. People come to me and they say, Maddie, I just feel like I'm spinning my wheels constantly. Maddie, I just feel like I have so many things on my plate to do. And that's because you're trying to do it all. Instead, you need to focus on these three major things. Is your branding magnetic, disruptive, unique, exciting, and incredible? Yes or no? Is your marketing to one major person? Is it effective? Is it working? Are people engaged with it? And is it bringing people to your website? When they get to your website, are they actually converting? Or do you see the data here that proves that people are going from your Instagram over to your website or from your marketing into your sales? And are they actually converting? And then are they sticking around? That is what matters with your ideal customer. This is what matters with your business growth. This is what matters if you want to hit 7 figures in your brand. What we're talking about here is actually having a really solid marketing, sales, and business strategy overall. We're talking about attraction, we're talking about conversion, and we're talking about retention. Those are the only 3 things that you need, because with the community piece, people will buy over and over again, which will naturally stack your revenue. Your marketing and your sales is obviously pushing people through that and actually converting, and your branding is what's bringing in new people. And so if you have a piece of this that's broken, if you have a beautiful brand, you've invested in the product photos, you're creative, you're really great at that, but your marketing and your sales is falling flat, or even just your website, if your website falls flat and it's not really working well, this whole process is breaking because nobody's buying in order to retain. Your marketing might be there, but they're not actually buying from you. And so we can't actually stack our revenue. All 4 of these pieces, the branding, the marketing, the sales, and the retention, have to blend really seamlessly to have everything move together. This is what I call a seamless sales system. This is what we do inside of PTP with every one of my clients that comes to me and is building their brand, trying to hit this like 7-figure, multi-6-figure, even 6 figures. No matter where you are, even if you are making $500 a month right now in your business, this is what you need to do. If you're making $5,000 a month in your business, this is what you need to do. Because if you have these 4 things mastered, your branding, your marketing, your sales, and your retention, all you need to do is get new people in, which is visibility is actually very easy to do. If you understand how to get visibility, that doesn't mean virality. It means visibility with the right people. And then they just move through the buying process, and then they stick around and they continuously stack. And so if you have these 4 pieces, business gets to be very easy. It doesn't have to take tens of hours a week for you to market your business and to obtain new customers. It doesn't have to be this all-consuming, frustrating thing. If you have this, you have a plan, you understand exactly what you have to post in order to make it happen, and your customers are there to ride with you and to basically sell and help you grow for you. You have little mini influencers everywhere because they are buying your product and they're in your ride or die community and they're obsessed with everything that you have. That is what a ride or die community, that is what a business strategy, and that is what a 7-figure brand has mastered. Once we get to this point, then we can complicate things. I know you're out there saying, Maddie, this seems too simple, but it really is simple. It's not easy. It's simple, meaning you do have to continue to show up. You do have to be able to say, that post sucked. Let me make a new one next week and see if it gets better. You do have to be real with yourself. It does take time. I'm never going to say that you'll do this and you'll have a 7-figure brand in 4 weeks. If it was that easy, we all would be millionaires, including myself, right? We would all be out there having a million businesses. It is not easy, but it is simple. All you have to do is master these 4 things and make it consistent. This is what we do with every single one of my customers. If you were to come to me, I would ask you questions about your brand, about your marketing, about your sales, and about your retention. If you come to me, those are the 4 data pieces I'm looking at. Are people magnetized to you? Are people going to your website? Are people converting at your website? And are they coming back? When you come to me, that is the first data piece that I'm looking at. You know me, you know I'm obsessed with data. That is what it looks like. If you have any questions on this, I want you to reach out to me at This Is Madison page on Instagram. My DMs are truly always open. I love hearing from any podcast listeners out there. Again, if you listen and I've never met you and never talked to you before, but yet you're listening religiously, I want you to come and say hi. I want to meet you and I want to see what your business is. I'm obsessed with stalking you as much as you stalk me, okay? I want to see what you're selling, what you're all about, and what you're building. I can't wait to do that. And reach out. If you want help with this, this is exactly what we teach. I am happy to help you instill all of this inside of your business. And it doesn't have to take a ton of time. I had a client meeting today. We're 4 weeks in and we started to see growth because they had some of these pieces already mastered. They came to me, they've been consistent, they have a brand, they're really great with that. We fine tune and results start to happen. But it was because one of these 4 pieces was broken. And even if a small piece of your marketing is broken or your small piece of your website is broken, that's going to break the whole thing. And then you're not going to be able to stack on top of each other. I want you to know right now, if you are thinking, is 7 figures actually possible for me? The answer is yes, as long as you are willing to make the changes in order to make it happen. As long as you are willing to adapt your business in order to make it happen, as long as you are willing to continue to show up and make it happen, it is absolutely possible for you. I've had many brand owners that come to me thinking that they could never do that, and we absolutely hit it and smash it out of the park because it absolutely is possible for you. So leaving on that, I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. I will see you in the next episode, and please come say hi to me on Instagram at This Is Madison page. I would love to see you there.
If you found today's episode helpful and are looking for more tangible ways to grow your business, make sure you are subscribed to the show. If you want to dive deeper into this topic more, click the link in the show notes and join our completely free podcast community where we dive into every single podcast topic, as well as give some bonus support and free coaching calls. And finally, if you are interested in getting my eyes on your business to find your hidden opportunities to scale, apply to work with me one-on-one in the show notes or on our website. Remember, it's not enough to listen. Don't forget to implement too. I love ya. I'll see you in the next episode.